All right, everybody, welcome back for another deep dive with us. Today we're going exploring something pretty cool, actually. The world of smooth hound sharks.
Smooth hounds?
Yeah. So, when I was looking at all the notes and all the facts that you had dug up about these sharks, I was like, wow, we gotta dive into this.
Yeah, for sure.
I was really struck by some of the unusual things about them, talking about their diets and how they give birth and just how many of them there are.
Exactly. And you know what really stood out to me was that they're listed as common on the IUCN Red List.
Yeah, that surprised me.
Right.
You don't often think about sharks as being like, oh yeah, there's a lot of them.
Right.
So for our listener out there who might not be familiar, can you break down what that even means? Like, what is the IUCN Red List and what does it mean when a species is classified as common?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So the IUCN Red List, it's like a big global list that tracks how species are doing all around the world. And when a species is listed as common, it basically means that their populations are doing pretty well. They're not facing an immediate threat of extinction.
Okay.
So they're not endangered, which is great news, especially when you consider that a lot of shark species, unfortunately, are struggling.
Yeah, totally. And what's even cooler is that they're doing so well despite having this super specialized diet.
Mm-hmm.
In the notes, you mentioned that they're big on crustaceans, so crabs and shrimp and even sandhoppers.
Oh yeah, they love those little critters.
But they also go for bony fish sometimes too.
That's right.
So I guess my question is, what's the advantage of being such a picky eater? Think of sharks, you think of them just chomp anything.
Right, like Jaws, just anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, so actually their pickiness is kind of a sign of their success, if you think about it. They've evolved these really cool teeth that are perfect for crushing shells, like crabs and lobsters and stuff. It's like they have built-in seafood crackers.
That's awesome.
I know, right? And that allows them to kind of take advantage of a food source that a lot of other sharks can't really access, which gives them a competitive edge out there in the ocean.
That makes a lot of sense.
Ah.
So speaking of specialization, let's talk about how they reproduce. Because in your notes, you mentioned that they give birth to a live young, which isn't that common for sharks, is it?
No, it's not. Actually, a lot of sharks lay eggs, but smooth hounds, they're a little different. They actually give birth to live pups.
Wow.
Yeah, and they usually have litters of about 4 to 15 pups.
Okay.
Which is a lot of baby sharks. And what's even more interesting is that their gestation period, so the length of their pregnancy is about 10 to 11 months.
Really?
Yeah, so they're carrying those pups around for almost a whole year before they're born.
Wow. That's like a human pregnancy.
Pretty much. And scientists think that this longer development time, inside the mom, really gives those baby sharks a better chance of survival once they're out in the ocean on their own.
It's like an extra layer of protection, basically.
Exactly. Think about it like a shark egg just sitting out there on the seafloor is pretty vulnerable. Other animals could eat it, the temperature could change, who knows what could happen.
Right.
But by keeping those developing pups safe and sound inside their bodies, smooth hound moms are basically increasing the chances that those pups will survive to adulthood.
That is a really cool strategy.
It is. It's like evolution in action,
Right.
figuring out the best way to ensure the survival of the next generation.
I love it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so another thing that really struck me when I was going through your research was just the sheer diversity of smooth hound species.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of them.
Your notes had this massive list. I mean,
Yeah.
there's the common smooth hound, the starry smooth hound, the dusky smooth hound, the gray smooth hound, the white spotted smooth hound.
Keeps going.
It goes on and on and on and on.
Yeah.
So how do all these different species, fit together? Is there a pattern to where we find them around the world?
Yeah, there definitely is. While some smooth hound species are found all over the globe, others are a little more picky about where they live. Certain species might only be found in specific regions or certain types of habitats.
Okay.
And, all of that comes down to things like water temperature, the types of prey that are available, and even the shape of the seafloor.
Oh, wow. So the ocean floor actually plays a role.
It can, yeah. A good example of this is the gummy shark, which is a type of smooth hound that lives mostly around Australia. They really thrive in the cooler waters and sandy bottoms that are common down there.
So each one of these different species has kind of found its own little niche within this big smooth hound family.
Exactly. They've adapted to specific environments and lifestyles over millions of years. It's pretty amazing.
It really is. And it just goes to show that there's so much more to smooth hounds than meets the eye.
Yeah, they're definitely not your average shark.
Okay, so after this deep dive, I think it's safe to say that smooth hound sharks are incredibly specialized. They're surprisingly diverse, and thankfully they're still thriving in many parts of the world.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
But you know what really gets me? Is that we still have so much to learn about them.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Every time scientists do a new study or make a new observation, it's like they uncover another layer of complexity to these creatures.
So what are some of the big unanswered questions that, scientists are still trying to figure out about smooth hounds?
Well, for one, we still don't fully understand how they navigate in the open ocean. I mean, they spend a lot of time on the seafloor, but they can also swim pretty far out to sea.
Right.
So how do they find their way around? And another big question is, what's the long-term impact of fishing on their populations? They're doing okay right now, but we need to make sure that we're managing them sustainably so that they continue to thrive for generations to come.
Absolutely. And, those are just a couple of the mysteries surrounding these fascinating sharks. I'm sure there are countless others waiting to be discovered.
Definitely. The ocean is full of secrets, and it's up to us to keep exploring and asking questions.
I love that. Well, I think that's a great place to wrap up our deep dive on smooth hound sharks for today.
Yeah.
Big thanks to you for sharing all your expertise and for taking us on this underwater adventure.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
And to all our listeners out there, keep exploring, keep asking questions, and who knows, maybe you'll be the one to uncover the next big smooth hound shark mystery.
That's right.
Until next time, happy diving, everybody.
See ya.
Bye.